admin is a design only. So where to start? This is the starter page of the dashboard for the admin. So let's go to the admin index.php. So this index in the admin are just similar in the index on our front page. But the difference is that the index in front page is already has an include.php. We already put it in the right place and na-chop-chop na natin sila. So, let's do the same here in the index admin. So, where to start? This head of the admin, so, sorry. So, in this design, there is a head. There is a head. But in this head, there is a plugins wherein these plugins are located in here, plugins these plugins, and this CSS is also located here in the admin. Since our instructor let us copy his oh his dashboard, so we have a copy in the index too. And the under of these plugins are the CSS, images, and GS. And also the under of these plugins are the bootstrap databases and so on and so forth. In this head, we'll need to copy this one and move it into a include folder so that it would be a dynamic pages again. So admin, well, let's create a folder here. Let's name it as include, and under this include we put it the head.php here. Okay, and let's paste this. Since we already copied the head, so let's go back to the index admin, under the admin. So in here, let's try to call the folder pages, and the under let's try to call the head. So since head is under in the pages, so let's put pages. I'm sorry. Pages slash head.php. Okay, Control S. As what I've said, this is the folder of the admin pages, and let's call the head.php. Since head.php is under in the pages folder in the admin. And now let's go to the body and let's create a navbar. So it's still under in the include folder. So let's create a navbar.php. Since I already have a code in the navbar, so let's just copy and paste it here and Control S, and let's go back to the admin. I mean index.php, and let's try to call the navbar in here. So navbar, it's just the same in here in the head, but navbar. Oh, I'm sorry, I have a mistake in here. This head is under in the include, since the folder that I've been created is include. I'm sorry. And here it is still under also in the include folder, and still the same but the navbar now. So we call the navbar in here Control S. So the next is the sidebar menu, this. So let's go to include new file, and let's name it as a sidebar menu.php. Okay, I mean we can rename this a sidebar underscore menu. A sidebar menu is just too long, so let's just put a sidebar menu.php. Since I already have a sidebar menu codes again in here, so let's just copy and paste. So these are the sidebar menu, and Control S, and here let's call the sidebar menu. Let's name it as main sidebar container. Oh, sorry. Enter, and let's copy the let's call the sidebar menu here include again. Include sidebar menu is under the include folder, and let's just call the function here Control S, and this is the codes of the sidebar menu. So what is the output? These are the sidebar menu, and the navbar is here, the navbar. And let's X this and move on into another one. The next is the container wrapper or the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs is just the same in here, home or starter page. Yeah, that's it. So let's create a new file, breadcrumb.php. Since I already have a code, so let's just copy and paste again. Copy and paste, and Control S, and go back to the index and copy paste this and rename as a breadcrumb. Oh, sorry. Breadcrumb, Control S. And the next is the main footer. So let's create another file. New file here, and let's name it as footer.php. Okay, since I have a code, let's just copy and paste, Control S, and go back to the index and copy paste this again, and let's name it as footer.php. Control S. Later that we will load the index in the website. Since in our index front end index is we have a container here, we should put also a container here under in the wrapper. So I'll just copy and paste the codes and paste it. So here it goes. I'll just create another folder and I name it as pages. So under this pages is the home.php. Home.php. Our home. Let's just copy the codes. Control V, Control S, and let's go to the website. The output is just the same as what you've seen earlier when I logged in the admin. So let's refresh. It's just the same, but the difference is we don't have a button here, users, and the logout button. Let's go back. Now let's go to the sidebar menu for the user and the logout button here. Here we'll just delete. I think we just delete this, but it is the display, so it's fine if you delete and it's fine if you're not. Let's go to the sidebar. Okay, here. So okay, let's try to put some user accounts here, the button users and logout. So let's add the here. The class is equal to nav header and user accounts and of the oh sorry enter the class is equal to nav item and end a href. We don't have any location for the users. Let's put that later. Class is equal to nav link and iClass is equal to nav item nav I no nav nav icon sorry pass per user. This is the codes for the button of user account and p. Let's enter users and then this p and also and in here a and end of lay. Control S and let's see if it is working. So as you can see we have users and logout, but when we refresh, so there is a users. I'm sorry about this. Let's just delete this later. I need to do some thing. Okay, I have a mistake. I forgot to put the endly here, and that's it. It's already been refreshed again. Yeah, we have a user here, but we don't have any destinations yet. And let's put the logout button. Let's go back. log out button. Let's just copy paste this, control and control V, yeah, control V, and let's put log out here, log out, control S. Okay, and let's go back there, refresh. So here it is, log out, log out. So FA users is a CSS under the plugins. Here, oh no, it's under in the font 12 too awesome, the CSS here. Under the CSS, and they all CSS. So let's try to search FA users. So nandito siya. FA users is a CSS, yeah, under plugins, if you are wondering. As you can see earlier, we have a lot of icons here in the CSS functioning well. We can use that all. Okay, let's go back to the sidebar menu. I'll just close this. And the next is we'll need to have function in href. Let's do the logout first. So let's create a new folder under the admin. Let's name it as the process. So here in the process, let's try to make a new file and name it as logout.php. Go back to index. I mean the sidebar, and let's call the logout file here. Page is the variable, and the name of our file is logout. There's no need to put that php here because we already put some function here since in the index, I mean rather. So we already created a logout here. So let's try to code php and here this session start and if eset and get, oh sorry, get page is equal to logout unset session id number and session destroy. We have session again and ID number and header, location, slash, slash. Oh, sorry. We have echo admin ID, admin ID, accept, else, echo error, control S. Here we open up a session, open up condition here, and we make an if a condition using isIt function, and the page, if the page is true, which is equal to log out, and we do unset and session destroy. So, and if the page is true and it's equal to log out, it will go directly here, and if not, it will go directly to the error. Yeah. Okay, so let's start if it is working, and let's go in here and let's refresh. So let's try to log out. So obviously there's no problem that we've encountered since the log out button is already functioning. So let's move on. Let's go back here. Let's try to X this home and let's go now to the user. So in the users, dapat makikita dito kung ano yung nandito sa ating database. Into the dashboard here, in the user. And it needed to, the user will be pop out in here. Dapat lalabas siya dito, yung database natin sa localhost dito. So let's try to create a file new users under the pages. So let's name it as a users, that user.php. And then this part, the output here. So when we click this user, we need to see here the table containing the user. For example, this data should be appear here in the user using a table. So let's just use some bootstrap in here. So in the bootstrap we have a tables here in the content. So we have here a lot of tables that we can use. There's so many in here, different tables. So we are now in the users under the pages. So let's make this user a function wherein we need to put a code here. So let's start. Since I already have a code, so let's just copy and paste, and I will explain to you on what is the process in here. So in here we do looping here wherein the number starts with 0. It's initializing a counter and increment the counter and it will loop on his own for the number here. And here we get the data wherein there is an if name, m name, l name, gender, and etc. And the next is the button wherein the location. After this, we'll go back to the sidebar menu wherein we didn't put any link here in the users. So let's try to put page is equal to user, Control S, and since we use call function here, so we have to create another file for a call function. So we need to create another folder. Let's name it as a library wherein doon natin ipapasok yung call function niya. So let's create library, and then the inside of the library is the call function .php, the call functions.php. Okay, so what is the inside of here? So PHP function call functions, okay, and echo tr and end of a tr, oops, baliktad, enter. Let's put here td id number, td. I'll just copy paste this and paste it here. Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V. So how much? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And let's rename this into fname. And the last is, the second to the last is blood type, and the last one is action. Okay, Control S, okay, and then up in here, here the user, we already included the folder, the library, and the call functions. So if this is already been called, it will go, lalabas siya. So now let's try if it is working, if the user will be clickable and the output. So let's go in here, refresh, go to the users, and okay. Nandito na siya. Okay, and then let's go back